Hi, my name is Nikesh Pathak, and today I'm going to share you a quick overview of SAM and AWS tool plugin. If you are a beginner on serverless application development, this video will help you to getting started. AWS SAM is an open source CLI tool that allow a developer to build, test, and deploy serverless application on AWS. It also provides a local development environment to test and debug their code before deploying it to the cloud. And AWS Toolkit is an extension for a popular IDE such as a Visual Studio, Eclipse, and JetBrains IDE that allow developer to easily develop, debug, and deploy serverless application and other AWS resources directly from their IDE. It's provide a GUI browsing for and manage a AWS limited resource directly from the IDE. When I say limited resource, mean that all the feature that AWS provided that is not supported by this plugin. So there is a limited whichever the most required feature you can find into that plugin. So let's go through the steps. So here I'm assuming you have already installed AWS CLI on your machine. In case if you have not installed, then please follow this link and uh, you can view that there is a good documentation provided by AWS where you can see that how can you can configure and install AWS CLI on your machine as per your operating system. Now the for Mac I have quickly written that command. So if you have a Mac machine, then you can just do a brew install AWS CLI, it will configure. Now the next step was configuring a credential into a local machine, because as you have AWS CLI is already installed, then you have to configure it. Then in later part you can connect with your account. So here I'm assuming you have already created a AWS account and you know your access ID and secret key file, and whatever the information you feed here for access key ID or secret key, region name, and the format, it will save into a default profile. Now if that is configure, so you can also verify that, like you can apply the command like AWS configure dash dash profile in your profile name, so you can list down that profile detail. Next one, once your AWS CLI is configured on your machine, you need to install SAM on local machine, because we are going to create a simple example of a serverless application utilizing a SAM. So SAM is required. So again, if you need a link detail where how you can configure, and so you can utilize that link and you can visit on the detailed documentation that AWS provided. Apart from this, you can quickly, if you have a Mac machine, you can just install AWS CLI. You can identify the version, which version that latest one you have installed or not. Once that is done, now the our next step is to configure AWS toolkit. The simple way, if you wanted to find that, in my case I have already installed, but I'll share you the one of the example. If I go here uh, into the preferences and search for a plugin, like here you can search for this AWS toolkit. uh, uh, Go to the marketplace, select a marketplace, and you can search for it. In my case that is already installed, and that's why I'm not going to reinstall it. Now the next part is, once that tool is already installed with your machine, you can verify with the that bar. So if you go to here, so you can see there is a menu. Once it's successfully installed on your machine and you have restarted that, you can see that the AWS toolkit provided that explorer. Here you can even cloud formation stake, if you have deployed, you can able to see that even the CloudWatch log, DynamoDB table. So these are the listed services you can resources you can view and utilize that. All right, one of the example I can quickly show you, like this log. I wanted to see that log. This log is available for me. You can move back to the steps. So here we are clear that we have already installed that AWS tool. Now next part is to generate the project. So generating, because if you have a serverless application, we are going to generate that. If I go here and and go to the project section, I can see that there is a AWS option is there. Once I select it and go to the next, it will it will provide us that serverless lambda, because that option is available because of that AWS toolkit plugin we have installed here. So whatever the project name I wanted to mention, I mentioned that, because in my case I've already created that hello world, so I'm not going to create that, but at least I will show you those options, even that support the Java different version as well. Here that you can select that architecture, ARM and x86, so that part you can see. Also there is a pre-built template they have provided. I'm going with the hello world Sam Gradle part, but yes, if you wanted to test with event bridge or other kind of example, you can utilize that. Once I hit on that create button, it will generate that project. This project will be getting generated for you. And if you see that this project, no single line added by me here, it's everything is generated by that project. So it's kind of really helpful for a developer, someone who knew and wanted to getting a start in serverless application development. So it's a very easy. They got that format because that is something AWS based template. The way they provided a template that you can see, and at this basic code detail you will get here. So if you see that what they have generated the basic event because they are going to utilize API gateway as well. So that path and those details they have provided. Also the Gradle wrapper, which version we are going to use that source and that main and test repo there. So this one is the something one Lambda handler with the pass API gateway proxy, because this Lambda is going to attach with API gateway. So means that once we build that solution, this solution will uh, 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 kind of endpoint REST API, and that will return a hello world and our location name as per that defined here. So with 200 or 500 based on the condition, it will return that. If there is any exception happen, it will go into this one with that test status. Now if you wanted to know about the each steps, so during a generation they have also generated readme.md file. I would say that is a important file. If you go with the each steps, even they have provided the basic feature, what particular feature that is going to provide by that hello world application, like what they mention into the source main and other detail. Also they have added a that step as well, how you are going to build and deploy that application, right? And they also the other part as well, other step, I mean how you are going to run their test locally, and what endpoint that is going to expose that. So those detail you can find on this page. So I would say that is very useful. Now the other part they have generated the template one, because here if you can see that we are going to write a one lambda function. So that lambda hello world lambda attached, they have that cloud formation script they generated. They define that handler request method. So if you see that hello world app and handler, if you go to this file, you can see that hello world is our package, app name, and this handler method. So because of this destination, your method going to be identified as a handler. And then this part is mentioned. That also Java 11 we have selected, I have selected last time. So Java 11, whatever the memory size architecture, everything is defined here. Let's build the project. And now we have successfully built our project. Do a next step, that is SAM deploy. Okay, let's enter a SAM command, SAM deploy command. That is SAM deploy dash dash guided. So once I apply this command, it will ask a series of questions like stake name. Then it will ask for a region name, and there is a multiple follow-up question it will going to ask. Once we fulfill all the question, it will done and it will start a deployment. So now you can see that how it will going to um, ask a question, and those question you can see into that command. Now deployment has initiated. Now cloud formation stake is successfully created. Let's verify in our AWS Explorer within our IDE. if our resource has created successfully or not. So now you can see that we have a hello world stake is already created. If I click on it, I can able to view that all the resource creation status, whatever the resource has created. Now copy the newly created API endpoint from the output section and open into the browser. We can see that hello world location, this IP address, it is showing that means that the whatever deployment we have did, that is successfully done. Let's clean up the resource, whatever the resource we have created. Hope you find this video useful. Let me know your query in comment section. Thanks for watching.